Sahana bhavatu, Sahano bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahe, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Paramparam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidiyate. Sarva Vedānta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satgurum Pranatosmyaham. So we were seeing in this Tattvabodha session, Srishti. Srishti means creation in Sanskrit. And creation is given elaborately in many texts. It is talked about even in the Upanishads. But ultimately, the idea is if creation is real alone, then we undergo this feeling of bondage. So the idea is the question is creation as real as I take it to be? That's what we are going to see now. And why is creation brought in here? Because again, all the texts, they talk about the grand equation that we hear in the Vedānta Shastra, which is Tvam Asi, you are that. And Tvam has been discussed elaborately in this text right from the beginning. Who are you? And we have seen the Panchakoshas, Shariratraya, all of this, we have seen that. Now the other side of the equation, Tat, is being discussed. So that is why the Srishti is brought in to understand this Tat. Who is this Tat? So a whole new project, we saw a whole new method, whole new subject matter is brought up here. But we have to understand in our scriptures, we cannot really explain this world. There are so many contradictions in all the religions and philosophies. If you have a thinking mind, it is very difficult to accept a lot of these philosophies regarding how the world is created. First of all, the question will come, why does God need to create a world? What is the purpose of this world? It doesn't make sense at all. There seems to be no purpose. If God or Brahman is limitless, if he is great, all-powerful, limitless, why should he do all this? So limitless means already he's fulfilled. What reason will there be for Lord to make a creation? It just does not make sense. So there are a lot of philosophies that we read, a lot of philosophies that are given. So desiring anything external only indicates some kind of lack on behalf of God, right? So some kind of need on behalf of the desirer has to be there for the desirer to desire anything. Was Brahman lonely? First question will come. Was Brahman lonely? Was Lord lonely? If he's limitless, how can he be lonely? But some people say he was lonely, so he wanted to create a devotee. He wanted to create man because God was lonely. He wanted to be loved by somebody external. Doesn't make sense. If he's limitless and fullness, how can he get lonely? So that is number one of the philosophies we hear. Then was he bored? That's another theory. God was bored being alone. He got so bored, he decided, oh, let me make this creation, let me make this. And he made this creation appear. Was he bored? Did he not have anything else to do? Did he have to create this to play a game in this world? So he played a game. We often hear that this is all Bhagwan's Leela. You hear that word Leela all over the place. Why would he play a game like this? That is a question that comes. Did he not have anything else? He had to play this game. Another question will come. If it is a game, it is a very sadistic game, actually. Will Lord play such a sadistic game where, he enjoys watching us go through all the suffering and pain that we go through in life? Will he do that, really? So it doesn't make sense, actually. Creation itself doesn't make sense. And we also don't have an answer for creation, really. This is only a model that is given. We have the one answer that Vedanta says is Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. There is only one without a second, that is the consciousness, that is Brahman. But let us examine creation, in a creation of anything, in a little more depth. I think the way we examine is taking an example. That is the best way. So what is the example? Like take an example of a goldsmith or a jeweler who creates a gold ornament. And what is he in regard to his creation? He is the intelligence. He is the intelligent. He is the efficient cause behind the creation of the ornament. He is a conscious being that creates that ornament. Gold is the material cause he uses for the creation. So he uses the gold and he creates, because he has a sankalpa, he imagines something, he creates it. This is how we recognize creator and creation in our day-to-day life. So Ishvara, he is Ishvara. We could say the goldsmith is the Ishvara of the gold world. But here, the situation is very different. How? Because again and again, we are told there is only one without a second. So there cannot be two things here. If there are two things, if there is maker and material, what happens? Then duality comes into the picture again. Advaita, which is non-duality, is negated. That is not our experience. That is not what the Shastras reveal. Advaita means not non-dual, is the truth revealed in our scriptures. And this affects, all the effect has to contain the qualities of what the cause is as well. So it also should be limitless. If a limitless cause creates limited effect, it doesn't make sense. But this limited creation seems to emerge from a limitless cause, consciousness, Brahman, God, Ishvara, whatever name you want to give it. How is it possible? Can this all seemingly inert creation come from consciousness? If it comes from a conscious being, where did he get the material for it? That's the next question. Is the material outside himself? There are no answers at all. There is no logical answer to this creation at all. That is why our ancients, rishis, they brought in the concept of Maya. Maya, Shakti, has been brought in to explain this very creation. Maya explains the inexplicable, that which cannot actually happen. This creatrix called Maya makes the impossible appear to be possible. She makes this Jagat appear where we say, in fact, this is quite frightening to hear, there is no creation at all in actual fact. There's no such thing as creation. She is the power of the magician who is Ishvara to conceal the reality of himself, the reality of the one without the second. She makes this one appear as many and varied and multifarious. There is no intrinsic change, in fact, to anything in at all in this appearance. There's no intrinsic change at all. Like if I say what the changes I witness, if the changes I witness in creation, the seed converting to a tree, for instance, the fetus converting to a baby, for instance, these are all changes we witness in creation. But is it really real? When we examine further, every object is broken down into consciousness. Even the conscious objects are only, they're only moving parts. A body, a physical body is nothing but parts. 2 hands, 2 legs put together, 1 torso. We know if you chop it up, it's going to be partless body, head a part. So all creation is only parts and parts put together. If creation was real alone, there would be a proper explanation, a logical explanation, but it is not. It is inexplicable. The Shastra says the whole world is like a mirage, actually. This whole appearance is like a mirage, but it is one that does not disappear immediately. Why? It seems so real. It does not disappear until the knowledge of the one takes place. In that knowledge of the one, the whole mirage is seen as mirage. Mirage, even in the nature, you see mirage is like nature's version of optical illusion, right? There's one called Fata Morgana. You may have heard of it. I think somebody sent a picture there. Fata Morgana is an illusion which appears in the, it occurs in the horizon on the oceans and the seas. So it makes the distance objects like ships and other, ships and boats and everything on the shoreline appear to be floating in the sky. This is called Fata Morgana. It's an illusion, actually. And why does that happen to the eyes? It is the path of, light particles, the curvature of the earth, air temperatures. They create false images that the eye is taken in by the brain, and it is said to be real. People are convinced it looks real, it is said to be real. This creation is like that. It takes in objects, especially with the eyes. Eyes are number one sense organs to take in. It takes in experience of the world and it feels it's real. It thinks it's real. So creation, the Shastra says, is only a mere appearance on the one. There is no real transformation here. But how do we account for the transformations we experience then? Maya Shakti. Maya makes the seed change into a tree. Magic. That is the magic. Maya makes birth take place as though change. It is magic. Maya makes the body grow. Maya makes the body age. Maya makes death an event in somebody's life. That is appearance. Maya makes a limitless being. That is the truth of yourself. You are a limitless being. That is what Shastra says. Pure consciousness, limitless being, appear as a limited being. So this is again the trick here. Maya, to unfold the oneness of this universe, duality is first accepted by the Shastra. Multiplicity is first accepted by the Shastra because it is our experience in life. We cannot deny it. It is our experience. But the reality of the Upanishads, the reality of Vedanta is that the universe is mithya. It is a dependent reality. It has no existence on its own. It is a product of Maya Shakti alone. So with this, we examine now the second part of the equation, Tattvam Asi. Tattvotpati Prakaram. Utpati Prakaram means Vedic cosmology is now brought in. Is God a creator? Is God the nimitta karanam, the intelligence behind this world? If he was a creator, then what would be the other issue? He will be confined to a place and a time. He will be confined to a particular place and time if out of the creation. If he's a creator and the creation is separate from him, what does that make him? It makes him separate somewhere else. He's sitting, creation is something else. That is not logical. So again, Vedanta says that Brahman alone appears as this whole universe. It is like the movie screen. You can take the movie screen. The whole universe is the movie projected on the screen. Vedanta is non-duality in spite of duality, not absence of duality. I'll repeat that. Vedanta is non-duality in spite of duality, not absence of duality. So you can still live in this dual jagat, but still recognize the oneness of the universe. That is the amazing thing. So here is a method to understand the creation is given in the Shastra to explain this duality, to explain this multiplicity. And always the Shastra moves from the subtle to the gross, subtle to the gross. So it explains the evolution of matter. Begins first with the evolution of matter, Chatur Vimshati Tattvam. Chatur Vimshati Tattva means the entire cosmos, whole universe is 24 basic principles. This is taken from another darshana, another philosophy actually. We saw that they're called tattvas. So this is taken from the Vaisheshikas, Nyaya Shastra. They talk about these, Sankhya actually, Sankhya philosophy. So the 5 subtle elements, which later become gross, each of the 5 subtle elements, they contain 3 gunas. 3 gunas are the Trigunatmika Maya, the Sattva guna, the Rajas guna, and the Tamo guna. We will see this later. I won't explain now. We'll see it later. But what do these gunas do? These gunas, they are responsible for certain characteristics we see in creation. If you see a lot of activity and action, that Rajas guna is predominant. So these gunas are responsible for a lot of things happening in this creation. 17 components of the Sukshma are also included in this 24 aspect view of creation. The 2 extra, Chittam, which is memory, and Ahankara, ego, is also added. We saw this last time. So how is this creation brought about? How is Maya brought about? So for anything in this universe, the creation, the model of creation that is given in this text, we need a masculine aspect and a feminine aspect. So that is why all our gods, as I said, where all the gods are married, it is not that they have real, it's not the wives are real. It is the masculine and the feminine that go to form this creation that we see. And the whole universe has 2 parents, Parvati Parameshwaraha. So the original dad is Parameshwaraha. Parvati is the power. So this Jagat, Maya is brought in to explain this Jagat. She is the potential form of the universe. She is the womb of the universe. She contains the seed for everything to manifest in her. She is the seed of the universe. And consciousness is non-material. The matter is material. So again, universal mother is called Maya Shakti. She's a universal mother, and consciousness and matter both together are are called universal mother. So Maya is the Shakti, the power behind this creation. She is not an independent reality. The power cannot reside separate from the powerful. There has to be something powerful that wields the power. So the powerful is that masculine aspect of this creation. The power is the feminine. So what is this Maya? It is said that all the Karana Sharirams, all the causal forms of this universe are there resident in Maya. All the names and forms and the functions in potential seed form are in Maya. She is ready to manifest anything. So if you ask, where were you before you were born? That's a question. Where were you before you were born? Where did you come from? Yeah, you may say, I came from my parents, but where were you before that? You were in a potential seed form in Maya. She is the original womb. Before you entered into the physical womb of your mother, where were you? You were in the womb of Maya. You were in the universal mother's womb. You were, again, that in the universal womb is Maya, Mother Maya's, her womb you are in. And she contains everything in potential form. Everybody is in potential form in Maya. And the interesting thing is that your karma is also in potential form in Maya. Your relationships also in potential form in Maya. It only manifests when Maya manifests, then all your individuality, all your things in life, everything starts manifesting when Maya manifests as well. So Maya is the immediate cause for this Jagat. She's brought in. She is given a name, Parinami Upadana Karanam. Parinami Upadana Karanam. See how technical our rishis were. It's amazing. They even gave name for this Maya, bringing in Maya to explain creation when there's no creation, when it is all mirage, actually, like a hologramic universe. It is like that, but we see the seed transform to a tree. We see the baby grow. What accounts for all that experience we have in life? All experiences take place under Maya, whereas the one reality, the unchanging truth, remains there as a witness to all these changes. That's the amazing thing. You are that unchanging truth. So in fact, you are a witness to all that is changing. And what is this Maya? Brahma Shraya Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya. The text says, Maya only has its being in Brahman. It depends entirely on Brahman for its existence. Brahman blesses Maya by its mere presence. Brahman blesses Maya to create. It is like the sun, right? When you see the sun, does it do anything to shine? It does nothing. Its mere presence gives light and heat to this whole world. The presence of the sun gives light and heat. In the same way, all activities, in the world, you see, all activities take place in the presence of the sun. In the same way, Brahman, its mere presence blesses the evolution of this Jagat. All the physical Darwinian evolution is one thing. What made things evolve? You have to ask. Darwin never asked, what made things evolve? I don't know whether he asked, but he may have asked, but he speaks about the evolution of creatures, the stula sharirams of, his theory is based on stula sharirams, right? Evolution of stula. We talk about evolution of sukshma. That's the difference. We also talk about evolution of the subtle form of a human being. That is why it's a spiritual aspect is brought in by our Shastra very much. What is spiritual? Imperceptible, unseeable aspect is more true according to our Shastra than the perceptible. Perceptibles can change, perceptibles can evolve, perceptibles can die off, but the imperceptible does not go like that. Brahman can exist without Maya, but can Maya exist without Brahman? No. The water can exist without the wave, but can wave exist without water? It cannot. This is the whole universe like that. Everything is a dependent reality. There is only one truth. Everything is dependent reality. It depends on the one truth. So clay, you can look at it a different way as well. Clay plus pot is still clay. Clay plus pot is still clay. Fabric plus shirt is still fabric. Gold plus ornament remains gold. So this is the power of Maya. She makes the transformations appear on the one, where there's actually only one there. The Jagat, 3 factors must have been there in potential form, it is said, for this universe to come into existence. And these 3 factors are called Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. They are qualities that inhere this entire universe. Sattva is the quality of knowledge. Sattva is the quality of knowing. Sattva is the quality of goodness, of compassion, of love. Anything that you see in this aspect is sattva quality manifesting, sattva guna. Rajas is the quality of doing, of activity. Rajas is the quality that produces anger in a person. Rajas is the quality that produces jealousy and all this extreme emotions in a person. It is Rajas alone that produces these qualities. First, on the universal level, you see Rajas. What makes the wild animals attack? It is the Rajas in the animal that creates the attack. What makes human beings move, walk, talk? It is Rajas alone that makes the human beings talk. What is that makes just before this class started, we had a meditation. What is it? What quality is brought up in meditation? Meditative practices, mindfulness practices. It is your sattva guna coming out. It is sattva guna for you to sit quietly, even for 10-15 minutes. What is that quality you make predominant in your mind? It is sattva. So in this way, whole universe is pervaded by three gunas, the last guna being tamas. Tamas is one of inertia. Tamas is one of apathy. Tamas is what creates depression or sadness in a person. So we have tamas as well. Tamas also creates sleep. We cannot avoid tamas in life. Tamas is very much a part of life. We all have these three gunas in different measure. As I've said, some people have some more in measure, some more than others. But the Jagat, whole Jagat has these three qualities as well as me. The whole Jagat has it. It has Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. This is all Maya Shakti actually. Maya has that power, Ichcha Shakti. She has Ichcha Shakti means power to desire, to create. She's given, this desire to create. Kriya Shakti, she does this creation. And Jnana Shakti, knowledge. She's also all knowledge. So she is, again, Maya Shakti. On the individual level, she is called avidya. Avidya means ignorance. She manifests as ignorance in a human being. We call, you may have read in many spiritual books, the veil of Maya. The veil of Maya is what? The veil of Maya is not something outside. She's not veiling something outside external. There's not some like curtain in the world, external, invisible curtain that doesn't let you see. Where is the veil? It is here. The veil is here. Because it is here, meaning it is in the mind. It covers the thinking it cannot see. So that is where knowledge alone can remove the veil of Maya. This Maya Shakti has, as we said, this Maya Shakti has two powers. It has two powers, one to project and one to cover. And the problem with this is, on the individual level, what is the problem you see in this? Once the avidya, on the individual level, she veils the reality of yourself. She veils the truth of yourself to yourself. Then what happens? All the wrong projections start in life. Every wrong projection, judgment is based on you're not understanding yourself in reality. That is why I brought it up in the meditation. At least during 10 minutes of meditative practice, you discover yourself without that judgment. Self-judgment. Why do you judge yourself? Because we are self-conscious beings. Only a self-conscious being can judge itself. Other beings are conscious, but they're not self-conscious. Have you noticed? There's a difference between conscious and self-conscious. A cow is not really self-conscious. If a cow, suppose in India, you have these cows with horns, right? You have these cows with horns. Suppose a cow was self-conscious. What would it do? It would say, oh, look at that cow there. It has so much nicer horns than I do. Look at my horns. They're all bent and crooked. I don't like my horns. Look at the other cow next to me. It's producing so much milk. I'm only producing one pint a day. I cannot produce more. That is called self-consciousness. Self-conscious being always means self-judging being. And this is what Maya does. It makes you conscious of yourself, but in the wrong way. You are conscious of what you are not, and you judge yourself on what you are not. The whole life is spent like this, judging oneself on what one is not really in reality. You are revealed by the scriptures as that one invisible, imperceptible truth, which is not touched by the problems of the body, mind, senses at all. But because of the self-judgments, constantly we have a certain way that we expect ourselves to be. We expect ourselves to behave in all ways. And we are constantly in this box cocoon of putting pressure, limitation on ourselves to be a certain way. This is where we have to understand this pressure on oneself to be a certain way is all due to ignorance. This avidya, ignorance, is the main culprit. And I cannot avoid this ignorance because we're all born with ignorance. Unfortunately, ignorance is beginningless. We cannot say where did it begin. It's beginningless. But fortunately, it has an end. It does have an end, because when you recognize the truth of who you are, then you realize that you are much more than this judgments you make about yourself. This is where I first begin to understand Maya Shakti, how she works. She works on the individual level as this avidya covering me from myself. On the universal level, how does she work? On the universal level, she works in the form of Vikshepa Shakti. She projects this universe. She projects names, forms, and functions when there is only one truth. They appear as though on that one truth. In fact, every object is reducible, reducible, reducible. We have done this vichara, this inquiry, quite a few times in the classes. All of you, even the scientists among you, agree very clearly that this whole universe is reducible to parts and more parts and more parts and more parts. We know that, in fact, it becomes where concepts, it goes into concepts because it's too small. Even an electron microscope cannot see further than a certain aspect. So it goes even further. Where does it end up? That is the projection of this universe. Amazing, actually. Whole creation we're dealing with is only an illusion. In that way, we call it illusion. It is in that way, but it is illusion in the sense that it is a dependent reality. We should not mistake it for something which is unreal. It is not unreal, it is an appearance. There's a difference between unreal and appearance. An appearance means I'm dealing with appearances only. Everything is an appearance. I'm dealing with appearances. But my issue, because of Maya affecting my mind in a certain way, is what? The appearance is given full reality. All appearance is given full reality, and I suffer with that reality I give to this whole Jagat. So that is why we do this inquiry. Shastra also does this inquiry. This whole universe is manifest from Ishvara Shakti. Ishvara we give as the intelligent cause, and Maya is the material cause. Ishvara and Maya are non-separate from each other, so material and intelligence become one and the same. This is how the creation is explained. So no form, nothing in this universe can be separate from Ishvara. That means you too are Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. Even the people given to crime are Ishvara. Everything, even the good, bad, ugly in this universe, everything is Ishvara, because there is no separation between Maya Shakti and the intelligence that wields that Shakti. It is one and the same as well. So now we see the evolution, the model of creation given in our scriptures is the evolution of the 5 elements. And the evolution of the 5 elements is a model that is explained in the Taittiriya Upanishad, that's taken directly from the Taittiriya Upanishad. But we see various models like this throughout the Vedanta Shastra. So here it begins with tataḥ ākāśaḥ sambhūtaḥ ākāśād vāyuḥ vāyostejaḥ tejasa āpaḥ abhdhayaḥ pṛthivī. So the abhdhayaḥ means from the water. From the water there is pṛthivī, earth comes. So this is a 5-fold model of creation. Pancha Mahabhutani, they called the 5 basic building blocks of all creation, 5 basic elements. So what is the 5 basic elements? First element the Shastra discusses is ākāśaḥ, space. How did they know space existed before even scientists found it out? They discovered there is an element of space. ākāśaḥ, first element to be born. Tataḥ ākāśaḥ sambhūtaḥ. What is the first element to be born in this creative process? It was space. Space was born. And from space, ākāśād vāyuḥ, comes the air. From space is born the air. And from the air is born what? Tejaha means Agni, fire. From the fire, which is the first visible element in the list of elements, from the fire is born āpaḥ, water. And from the water is born pṛthivī, earth. So the Jagat is presented in a five-fold way here. And there's a rule here that you have to remember. Karana gunaha karyeshu anuvartate. Karana gunaha karyeshu anuvartante, which means the qualities of the cause will always inhere the effect. This is an important rule to remember because it explains how each of the elements will contain a quality of the previous element. It's very beautiful, actually. Karana gunaha karyeshu anuvartante. The qualities of the cause will inhere the effect. We can see it even in our own lives. So many, if you see your own kids, they have similar qualities to the parents, right? Qualities of cause. Any effect will have the qualities to some extent of the cause. Sometimes the parent and the child look ditto. They look identical. At least when they were like children, they look, you see, oh, I looked just like that when I was young. So the qualities of the cause always inhere the effect. So here the subtle elements are being discussed. First of all, in the creation model, subtle elements are born. Then they undergo a process of grossification, which is called panchikaranam, and they become gross. But the subtle space first is born. Space was created. I don't know what science says now after Big Bang. I don't know, positive material, not empty. This is elastic, bending, curving space. So this is the subtlest form of matter, which is space. And what is space's property? This is very interesting. What is the property of space? What is the quality of space? It is shabdaha, sound. Sound travels in space. So the property of sound, ether or space, ether and space, here, sound travels in space. They say that. And where is sound available? It is available for one sense organ alone. My tongue cannot pick up sound. My eyes cannot pick up sound. My skin cannot pick up sound. What can pick up sound? Only the ears. Ears pick up sound. So the space and the hearing power is very much connected. This is all important to see the quality and the connection with the sense organs. The sense organs, ears, have access to sound. So the property of sound is the first that's born because of space. Then what comes into the picture? From space is born vāyuḥ, which is air. Which is the air is the sukshma, subtle air is born from subtle space. And this subtle air has two properties. What is that? It borrows the property from the space. Remember the rule. The cause always inheres the effect. Look how beautifully this is presented. What is the cause for the air? ākāśaḥ, vāyuḥ. From space is born air. So the air has to carry the quality of space. What was the quality of space? Sound, shabdaha. Air also carries sound. You can hear the wind. You can hear air. You can hear air, especially when you have air released from your own body. You can hear it. So air, you can hear shabdaha. Then it has its own quality. It carries its own quality. It has two properties, vāyuḥ. What is the other one? Sparsha, touch. Sound and touch. Space, air can be heard. Air can be felt. So it is now available for two sense organs, for the ears and the skin. See how this is the evolution of elements. So two properties for the touch, for the skin, and for the ears. So the rule is what? The cause inheres the effect. So the cause, one quality of the cause has been brought in, which is space. The quality of sound has been brought into air, and it has contributed its own quality, which is touch, sparsha. Now, from Vayu, what is the next in the sequence of elements? It is tejaha, which is Agni, fire. The rule again we begin. We bring in from the cause. The cause always inheres the effect. What were the causes? The space and the air. Then what were the properties now? Space had sound as property. It was available for the ears, hearing. Air had sound and touch as property, available for skin and available for the hearing. Now, Teja, Agni has what? It has borrows the properties of the previous two elements. It can be heard. It has shabda. You can hear the crackling of the fire. It can be touched. You'll get burnt if you touch fire, but you can touch fire. And it brings its own property, which is form. It can be seen. So now available for 3 sense organs. Look at that. It is available for hearing. It is available for skin, touch, and it is available first element for eyes. First element which is available for eyes. That's why Surya or Agni become presiding deity of the eyes. Very beautiful. You link the eyes to Agni. It was the first element that has come. It is available now for recognition of 3 sense organs, the ears, the skin, and the eyes. Next in the evolution process comes the āpaḥ or water. Water is the born of fire. Tejas, from the Agni, the āpaḥ is born. And because the rule is, it has to contain the cause, because it is effect, it contains all the properties of the previous elements. What does it contain? 4 properties. Shabda, sound, you can hear water. Sparsha, touch, you can touch water. Rupa, form, you can see water. And it brings in its own quality. Rasa, taste. Water, from water is born taste. That's why we have saliva and the tongue. Look at that, beautiful. Because of the saliva and the tongue, we're able to also experience taste. So it is available for 4 sense organs now. Water, being the 4th element, is available for 4 sense organs. The ears, you can hear. The skin, you can touch. The eyes, you can see. And the tongue, taste. Amazing. Every time I do this, I feel amazed how they know all this, how they connect everything together. And even more connections will happen, because you'll see each one is giving presiding deity as well, divinity. Everything is divinized in the whole system, how this works. Then from the āpaḥ, what is born? Abhdhayaḥ pṛthivī. From the water is born the last element, the grossest of all elements, because we are always moving in creation from the subtle to the gross. Subtle to gross. So the most subtle is Brahman, consciousness. From consciousness comes ākāśaḥ, space. From space comes air, which is less subtle than space. From space comes fire, which is more gross than air and space. From fire comes water, which is yet more gross than fire, air, and space. And the grossest of all elements is earth. Bhumihi, pṛthivī. It is the grossest. Why? Because it has 5 properties. More gross an element is, the more properties it has. You see that? That is why Atma has no properties. It's quality less. It doesn't have. It is so subtle, it does not have qualities. This pṛthivī has 5 properties now. What are the properties it has? From its causes. It has shabda, sound, borrowed from space. It has sparsha, borrowed from air, touch. It has rupa, borrowed from fire, form. It has rasa, taste, borrowed from water. And it brings in its own quality, gandham. Because of earth, you can smell. Earth has smell as a property. You may think water has smell. No, water does not have smell. It is mixed with the earth. That's why pure water has no smell. It is odorless. When it is mixed with either a nice fragrance or something which is not very good, like sewage water, we say sewage water, then it has bad smell. But it's because of the property of earth that is mixed with water that gives it smell, because the property of smell belongs to earth. Earth contains smell. So earth becomes the grossest of all elements because it is available for 5 senses now. See, space was only available for 1 sense. Air was available for 2 senses. Fire was available for 3 senses. Water available for 4 senses. Now earth is available for all 5. It is the grossest of all elements. It has property. You can hear earth in landslides and everything. You can hear earth. You can touch earth. You can pick it up, touch it. It has form, rupa. You can even taste earth, and you can smell earth. So it is the grossest of all the elements, earth. This is how the elements evolved according to this model given in the scriptures. The evolution of the subtle elements is this. These subtle elements now will go to grossify in a very elaborate process. We will see that in a future class. But idea is that all these elements manifest in a threefold way. They all contain sattva, rajas, and tamas, each element. And that is very important because the sattva of a certain element goes to form something. The rajas goes to form something else in this creation. And we'll see that. It's very, very interesting. We'll see that next week. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.